When a woman tests your emotional resilience, it's more than just seeing how you react to small annoyances or everyday setbacks. It's about observing your ability to remain calm, steady, and emotionally grounded when faced with deeper, more challenging situations. Life has a way of throwing curveballs. Stressful work situations, personal struggles, or even conflicts within the relationship itself. In these moments, she's not only seeing how well you manage the external pressures, but also how you handle your own internal reactions. A woman often looks for emotional strength, not just for the big moments, but also in the little ones. For instance, when faced with a stressful situation, do you panic, withdraw, or lash out? Or do you stay composed and look for solutions, demonstrating that you're capable of handling the storm with a sense of calm? This emotional resilience doesn't mean suppressing feelings, it means processing them in a healthy, controlled way. How you communicate your emotions, whether you're able to express frustrations without blaming or becoming defensive, matters. She may also test your emotional resilience in terms of how you handle challenges in the relationship. Does your commitment to working through issues waver when things get tough, or do you stay engaged and make an effort to understand her perspective? When a woman tests you emotionally, she's looking for someone who doesn't crumble under pressure, but instead faces challenges head-on with maturity and a willingness to grow. This speaks volumes about your stability and whether or not you can be a reliable partner when life gets difficult. The emotional roller coaster that comes with difficult circumstances can often bring out the best or the worst in a person. A woman tests your resilience to understand whether you can be trusted in hard times. If you respond to stress by shutting down or withdrawing emotionally, it could signal that you might not be able to handle the deeper, more complex layers of the relationship. On the other hand, if you are able to stay engaged, communicate effectively, and work through emotions in a balanced way, it builds confidence that you can weather future storms together. Your ability to empathize also plays a huge role in this test. Sometimes a woman may be going through something deeply emotional and will want to see how you react. Can you tune into her feelings without dismissing them or trying to fix everything immediately? Emotional resilience isn't just about holding it together for yourself. It's about understanding the feelings of others and being present in those moments. Your emotional intelligence in those instances can tell her a lot about your ability to be supportive and emotionally available in the relationship. Resilience also shows in how you bounce back after a disagreement. Disputes or challenges in a relationship are inevitable, but it's how you recover from them that matters. Do you hold grudges, or do you have the emotional maturity to forgive and move forward? Can you communicate after a tense moment without letting the negative energy linger? A woman will often test how well you recover from conflict because it shows her whether or not you're able to build a relationship that is resilient in the long term. Ultimately, the goal of testing your emotional resilience is not to push you to the breaking point, but to learn more about your character and emotional depth. It's about finding out if you can stand firm in the face of adversity, if you can be a safe, reliable partner when emotions run high, and if you can approach difficult times with empathy and understanding. When she sees that you have the ability to stay grounded and maintain emotional balance, it can reassure her that you're someone she can trust to handle both the good and the challenging times ahead. When a woman tests your commitment and consistency, it's often subtle, yet it plays a crucial role in determining the strength and trustworthiness of the relationship. She's not just looking for empty promises, she's watching to see if your actions match your words over time. A genuine commitment isn't something that can be proven in a single grand gesture. It's built through consistent, everyday efforts that reinforce your reliability and sincerity. One of the most common ways a woman will test your commitment is through your consistency. Do you show up when you say you will, or do you back out at the last minute? A person's word is often the most reliable indicator of their intentions. So when you say you'll do something, whether it's something small like picking up groceries or something larger like being there for a significant event in her life, she'll be paying attention. Now, if you constantly say one thing and do another, this creates a dissonance that erodes trust. It's not just about being reliable, it's about proving that you are someone who can be counted on, no matter what. Consistency doesn't just apply to actions, it's also about the emotional energy you bring to the relationship. A woman wants to know that you'll show up emotionally, not just physically. Are you consistently supportive, loving, and engaged, or do you only show these qualities when it's convenient for you? Relationships thrive on consistency because it creates a sense of security and predictability. If one day you're emotionally distant and the next you're all in, it creates confusion and makes it hard to know where she stands with you. She'll test you by gauging whether your emotional investment is consistent, and if you show up for her in both big and small ways. In addition to testing consistency in everyday actions, a woman may test your commitment by seeing how you react when things get tough. When obstacles arise, whether they're personal challenges, disagreements, or difficult situations, she'll be looking for signs of resilience. Will you back out or distance yourself when things get hard, or will you stay by her side and work through things together? The way you handle adversity can be a powerful indicator of how committed you really are. If you're the kind of person who perseveres through challenges and doesn't give up at the first sign of trouble, it demonstrates that you're truly invested in the relationship and willing to do the work required to make it last. Another way she might test your commitment is by testing your future intent. She may bring up topics like long-term goals, future plans, or talk about where she sees the relationship going. This isn't necessarily a direct test, but more of a subtle way of gauging whether your values align. Are you serious about the relationship, or are you just enjoying the moment? If your answers are vague or avoidant, this could signal a lack of. On the other hand, if you're open and transparent about your future vision, this builds confidence in the relationship and shows that you see a future with her in it. Beyond the relationship itself, women may also test how consistent you are in your personal growth and values. Do you evolve and grow in ways that align with your shared goals, or do you stay stagnant, unable to adapt and improve? A woman may want to see if you are continuously working on being the best version of yourself, whether it's through your career, personal goals, or emotional maturity. If she sees you making an effort to better yourself and your relationship, it signals that you're committed not only to the partnership, but to being a better partner as well. The essence of this test is to determine whether your commitment is real or whether it's conditional. A woman wants to know if you're someone who will stick around when things get difficult or when the excitement fades. If you are consistent in both your actions and emotions, it builds a foundation of trust that reassures her of your loyalty and dedication. Your commitment to her and the relationship doesn't have to be grand or constant in the same way. It just has to be reliable, honest, and present when it matters most. When she sees your commitment in action, it strengthens the bond and deepens the trust between you both. When a woman tests your respect for her boundaries, she's not only looking for whether you understand her limits, but also whether you genuinely value and honor her as an individual. Boundaries aren't just about physical space, they extend to emotional, mental, and even social areas of a relationship. A healthy relationship requires mutual respect for each person's boundaries, and testing these boundaries is often a way for a woman to gauge how deeply you care for her comfort, safety, and autonomy. Respecting boundaries begins with understanding that every person has their own unique needs and limitations. What feels comfortable for one person might not feel comfortable for another. This is especially important in the early stages of a relationship where both partners are still learning about each other's comfort zones. A woman may test your respect for her boundaries by observing how you react when she expresses her limits. For instance, if she says that she's not ready for a certain level of intimacy, whether emotional or physical, does your behavior reflect that respect? Do you listen and adjust, or do you push her beyond her comfort zone, testing how far you can go? The way you respond to these situations can either build trust or cause her to feel unheard and unsafe. Boundaries also apply to emotional space. A woman might test this by expressing her feelings or concerns about the relationship. How do you respond when she opens up emotionally? If she's feeling overwhelmed or vulnerable, does your response honor her need for space, or do you dismiss her feelings, making it about yourself or becoming defensive? Emotional boundaries are just as important as physical ones because they determine how emotionally safe she feels around you. When she expresses vulnerability, she's not just asking for understanding, she's testing whether you will respect her emotional boundaries, provide support without judgment, and not try to fix her feelings, but instead listen and validate them. A woman may also test how you handle the balance of personal space in the relationship. It's common for people to want time for themselves, even when they're deeply invested in a relationship. How do you respond when she wants to spend time with friends, pursue personal hobbies, or just have some time alone? If you respect this need for space, it signals that you understand the importance of maintaining individuality in a relationship. On the flip side, if you feel threatened or insecure when she seeks time apart, it can create a stifling dynamic where her boundaries aren't respected. The ability to allow her to have her own space without taking it personally shows maturity and emotional intelligence, something that can make her feel valued as a person beyond just being your partner. Another test of boundaries can occur in social settings. How do you handle her relationships with friends or family? Do you respect her need for independence and trust her to make decisions for herself, or do you try to control who she spends time with or how she interacts with others? A woman wants to feel like her autonomy is respected, and when a partner tests or oversteps these boundaries, it creates feelings of insecurity or resentment. Allowing her to navigate her relationships and respecting her choices is a reflection of how much you trust her and value her individuality. One crucial aspect of testing boundaries is how a woman looks for your reaction when things go wrong or when there's a breakdown in communication. If she sets a boundary that you inadvertently cross, how do you respond? Do you become defensive and argue that she's being too sensitive? Or do you apologize, learn from the situation, and make a genuine effort to not repeat the same mistake? This response shows maturity and self-awareness. The ability to acknowledge when you've crossed a boundary and to make the necessary adjustments is key in proving that you respect not only her limits, but also the relationship itself. Ultimately, when a woman tests your respect for her boundaries, she is seeking reassurance that you are the kind of partner who understands and honors her needs, whether those needs are physical, emotional, or mental. A person who is willing to test these boundaries isn't trying to create conflict, but rather is searching for clarity on how much respect and understanding she can expect from you. If you can show that you can respect her boundaries in all aspects of the relationship, it lays the foundation for deeper trust and emotional intimacy. This respect creates a safe space where both partners can grow together while maintaining their own sense of self. When she feels secure in her boundaries, it allows for the relationship to flourish in a balanced, healthy way. When a woman tests your ability to problem solve and your level of patience, it's not necessarily about a single disagreement or conflict. It's about how you handle the ups and downs of life and the relationship as a whole. Challenges are inevitable, and how you respond to them says a lot about your emotional maturity and capacity to navigate complex situations together. A woman will often test your ability to think critically and stay composed under pressure, as these traits are vital for creating a stable, supportive partnership. One of the key aspects of this test is how well you handle conflict. Disagreements and misunderstandings will inevitably arise, whether they're about big issues like future goals or small ones like household chores. What really matters is how you approach resolving these conflicts. Do you escalate the situation by getting defensive, raising your voice, or shutting down emotionally? Or do you listen carefully to her perspective, try to understand where she's coming from, and work toward a resolution? A woman might test you by bringing up an issue that's been bothering her to see if you can handle it calmly and with respect, without resorting to anger or blame. This is not just about solving the immediate problem. It's about demonstrating that you can approach any challenge with a mindset of collaboration rather than confrontation. Patience is another crucial element of this test. Patience doesn't just mean waiting for something without complaining. It's about remaining calm and composed while things aren't going your way, especially when circumstances are out of your control. When faced with a challenge in the relationship or in life, a woman might test your patience by placing you in situations where things don't go as expected. Perhaps her emotions are running high, or there's a delay in plans that causes frustration. How you react in those moments shows your level of emotional control and your ability to remain steady in the face of frustration. If you can stay patient even when things are difficult, it reflects your ability to endure challenges with a level-headed approach, and this is a trait that she values deeply in a partner. In addition to conflict and patience, a woman might test your problem-solving skills in other areas of life. For example, if you face a practical problem together, like planning a trip or handling a personal or financial situation, she'll be looking to see how you tackle the issue. Do you approach the problem with a sense of responsibility, calmly laying out potential solutions, or do you get overwhelmed, frustrated, or avoid making decisions altogether? A woman wants to know that she's with someone who is proactive, someone who can take charge of a situation and find solutions when problems arise. Your ability to think logically and come up with thoughtful solutions helps build trust, as it reassures her that you're capable of handling life's challenges together as a team. Sometimes this test of problem solving might not be about external challenges, but internal dynamics within the relationship. For example, if there's a misunderstanding or emotional disconnect, how do you approach fixing it? Do you take responsibility for your part in the issue, or do you deflect and avoid confronting the root cause of the problem? Women are often looking for partners who are willing to confront difficult emotions and work through them with maturity. If you show that you're willing to invest in resolving deeper emotional issues and not just sweep things under the rug, it demonstrates that you are committed to creating a healthy and sustainable relationship. A woman may also test how well you handle situations that require compromise. Relationships are built on give and take, and sometimes the best solution isn't the one that works best for you personally, but the one that benefits both partners. Can you step outside of your own perspective and find common ground? Are you flexible enough to adapt when the situation requires it? Problem solving in a relationship requires the ability to let go of stubbornness and work toward a solution that works for both individuals. And a woman will often test this by pushing you into situations where compromise is needed. Ultimately, when a woman tests your ability to problem solve and your patience, she's looking for reassurance that you are someone who can handle both the big and small obstacles that life will inevitably throw at you. She wants to know that when things get tough, you'll stay calm, think critically, and work with her to find a solution rather than running away from the problem or letting it fester. When you approach challenges with patience, maturity, and a willingness to collaborate, it not only resolves the immediate issue, but also strengthens the bond between you. These tests are not meant to challenge you unfairly. They are opportunities to demonstrate that you are emotionally equipped and ready to build a lasting partnership. When a woman tests your problem-solving abilities and patience, she's looking to see if you can handle the intricacies of life and relationships with maturity and understanding. Relationships are full of challenges, both big and small, and how you respond to these situations tells a lot about your emotional intelligence and stability. She's not looking for a perfect partner who never makes mistakes, but rather someone who approaches difficulties with calmness, logic, and the willingness to work through them together. One of the most significant ways a woman might test your patience is through everyday situations where things don't go as planned. Life rarely unfolds exactly how we expect it to, and this unpredictability can create stress, frustration, and conflict. Whether it's a simple issue like a delayed appointment or a more significant challenge like a personal problem, she may test your ability to stay calm under pressure. For instance, if plans get disrupted, does your mood shift dramatically, or do you roll with the punches and remain steady? A woman will often observe how you react in moments like these to gauge if you have the emotional resilience to manage stress without overreacting or becoming agitated. A partner who can maintain their composure during such moments helps to create an environment of security, as it signals that you can be counted on when things aren't going smoothly. Similarly, she may test your problem-solving skills, especially when facing more complex issues. Whether it's a financial decision, handling a disagreement, or navigating life transitions, your ability to approach these challenges thoughtfully is a critical trait. Problem solving in a relationship isn't just about finding solutions. It's about how you communicate and work together to address the problem. A woman will look at how you handle issues like planning for the future or figuring out practical matters. Do you shut down when faced with a difficult situation, or do you break it down into manageable parts, working toward a resolution? How you handle this also reflects your maturity. Are you able to stay calm, consider her perspective, and come to a decision that benefits both of you? Or do you become stubborn and insist on your way? The ability to collaborate and compromise, especially during trying times, is essential for maintaining a healthy relationship. Patience plays a significant role when emotions run high. During arguments or emotionally charged situations, it's easy for people to get defensive, blame others, or shut down. However, a woman often tests your patience by presenting her feelings in a way that requires a calm response. She may bring up an issue that has been bothering her, and how you react matters deeply. Do you immediately become defensive? Or do you listen actively, trying to understand her feelings before jumping to conclusions? Being able to sit with discomfort and give her the time and space to express herself shows emotional maturity and care for her needs. It's about being patient not only with the situation at hand, but also with the process of understanding one another. It shows that you value her perspective and that you're willing to work through conflicts without resorting to anger or frustration. In addition, the way you manage your patience when you're in a tough situation together can be telling. Whether it's facing a family issue, dealing with a financial strain, or simply balancing busy schedules, life will test both of you in different ways. A woman may want to see how you handle these external pressures. Are you the type who panics or gets frustrated, or can you assess the situation calmly and act with intention? Her testing could simply be her way of determining whether you can handle the external chaos of life while maintaining a steady and composed demeanor. A lack of patience in these moments often signals a lack of emotional control, which can be unsettling in a relationship. Conversely, if you demonstrate the ability to approach external stressors with a sense of calm and logical thinking, it gives her confidence that you can face life's challenges together without allowing external stress to negatively impact your connection. The testing of problem solving and patience isn't just about individual challenges. It's also about how well you work as a team. A woman will often observe how you navigate problems together. Are you open to her input and ideas? Do you make decisions jointly, or do you make unilateral choices? The willingness to listen, discuss, and compromise on decisions shows that you see the relationship as a partnership, and you're willing to put in the effort to solve problems together. When faced with obstacles, being able to work through them collaboratively rather than letting them create a divide between you reinforces the strength of the bond and the trust in the relationship. Ultimately, these tests are designed to assess whether you have the emotional intelligence, patience, and problem-solving skills to be a reliable, stable partner. When you demonstrate the ability to stay calm in difficult situations, think logically through challenges, and collaborate effectively, it creates a sense of safety and security for her. It signals that you are someone who can handle not only the small bumps in the road, but also the more significant challenges that come your way as a couple. Patience and problem-solving go hand in hand. And by showing that you can navigate difficulties together, you help strengthen the foundation of the relationship. When a woman tests your vulnerability and trust, she's often looking for a deeper emotional connection that goes beyond surface-level interactions. Vulnerability is a powerful yet delicate thing in any relationship. It requires emotional courage and the willingness to open up about one's fears, dreams, and insecurities. A woman may test how comfortable you are in exposing your true self, how willing you are to share your inner world with her, and how you handle moments of raw honesty and openness. These tests are not meant to push you into discomfort, but to help her understand the depth of the emotional bond between you. One way she may test your vulnerability is by sharing her own feelings or struggles with you. She may open up about something that's been weighing on her heart, a past experience that still affects her, or a personal challenge she's facing. In doing so, she's not just seeking sympathy or advice, she's watching how you respond. Do you listen with empathy and understanding? Or do you brush off her feelings, deflecting the conversation back to yourself? This is a test of how safe and comfortable she feels with you in sharing her vulnerabilities. If you react with warmth, patience, and care, it shows that you're emotionally available and supportive, which builds trust. On the other hand, if you shut down or avoid engaging with her emotions, it can create a barrier between you, making her feel disconnected or unimportant. Additionally, she might test your vulnerability by seeing if you are willing to share your own feelings with her. Many people find it difficult to open up about their innermost emotions, especially when it involves fear, insecurity, or past hurt. However, being able to share your vulnerabilities is essential to building an intimate, trusting relationship. A woman may test this by subtly inviting you to express how you feel about a situation or about her. For instance, she might ask how you really feel about the relationship or whether there's anything you've been holding back. Your response will tell her a lot about your emotional availability. If you open up about your feelings and express yourself honestly, it signals that you trust her enough to be vulnerable, which strengthens the connection between you. In addition to sharing emotions, a woman may also test how you handle moments of emotional weakness. Life can bring about difficult moments, whether it's a stressful work situation, a family issue, or personal struggles. And during these times, how you handle vulnerability is key. Do you bottle up your emotions and pretend everything is fine? Or are you willing to acknowledge your challenges and share them with her? When a woman tests this aspect of your character, she's seeking to understand whether you can trust her with your emotional world, not just your surface-level self. Showing vulnerability in these moments doesn't make you weak. Rather, it demonstrates emotional strength. It signals that you're capable of being real and authentic, which deepens trust and intimacy. Trust is the foundation upon which vulnerability thrives. A woman will often test your ability to earn and maintain her trust in various ways. She may share personal details about herself or reveal her past, not necessarily because she wants advice, but because she's testing if you'll respect her confidences. Can she trust that you will not use her vulnerabilities against her in moments of disagreement or when you're feeling frustrated? If you prove that you honor her trust by keeping her confidences and being supportive, it shows her that she can rely on you to safeguard her emotions. On the other hand, if you breach her trust, whether by dismissing her feelings, sharing private details with others, or becoming defensive when she's vulnerable, it can cause irreparable damage to the relationship. Another important aspect of this test is how you respond when she needs support. Vulnerability often comes with a need for reassurance, comfort, or guidance. If she opens up to you during a tough time, she's looking for your emotional support. Can she trust that you will be there for her in those moments, not with solutions or advice, but with compassion and understanding? Your willingness to be there for her without judgment, offering a safe space for her to express herself, builds trust and emotional intimacy. It shows that you are someone who values her emotional well-being and is committed to supporting her through both the good times and the difficult ones. Vulnerability also involves trusting that the other person will honor your emotions without taking advantage of them. A woman will test whether you can be trusted to be emotionally honest and not manipulate the situation. Do you understand that vulnerability is a two-way street and that trust isn't something that can be demanded but earned? If she sees that you're willing to take down your emotional walls and trust her with your vulnerabilities, she's more likely to reciprocate and share her own emotional truth with you. Ultimately, when a woman tests your vulnerability and trust, she's looking for someone who can be emotionally available, open, and authentic. It's about seeing if you can handle difficult emotions and conversations with maturity and care. When you demonstrate vulnerability in a relationship, it strengthens the emotional connection, making both partners feel seen, heard, and understood. By proving that you can trust her with your feelings and that you respect her emotional world, you build a deeper foundation for the relationship to grow on. When a woman tests your independence and self-sufficiency, she's looking to see if you can maintain a healthy sense of individuality while still being fully invested in the relationship. Independence doesn't mean being emotionally distant or detached. Rather, it means being secure enough in who you are to not rely solely on the relationship for your sense of fulfillment and identity. A woman wants to know that you are a whole person on your own, someone who can stand strong in your own values, goals, and passions, while also nurturing a strong and supportive partnership. One of the ways she might test your independence is by observing how you manage your personal life outside of the relationship. How well do you balance your time between your partner and other important aspects of your life, such as work, hobbies, friendships, and personal growth? A woman will notice if you lose yourself in the relationship, abandoning your interests, goals, or connections with others. While it's natural to want to spend time together and share experiences, it's equally important that both partners maintain their individual lives. She wants to see that you can still prioritize your own well-being and personal aspirations without becoming overly reliant on her or the relationship for emotional validation. This test may show up when she encourages you to spend time with your friends or pursue personal goals. Does this make you uncomfortable, or do you embrace the opportunity to be independent for a while? A woman values a partner who has the confidence and security to continue growing as an individual, because that means you can bring something fresh and exciting to the relationship rather than becoming overly codependent or stagnant. The ability to engage in your own interests, whether that's traveling, pursuing a career path, or taking care of your physical and mental health, demonstrates that you have a sense of self that doesn't rely on her or the relationship for your happiness. Another aspect of this test may involve your emotional independence. A woman wants to see how well you can manage your emotions without depending on her to fix everything. When you're going through a tough time, do you look to her for constant reassurance and support, or can you self-regulate, processing your feelings in a healthy way without leaning too heavily on her? Emotional independence doesn't mean shutting her out or not seeking support when needed. It's about showing that you can take responsibility for your emotional well-being. A woman appreciates a partner who can work through difficulties with a balanced perspective, someone who can be emotionally available but doesn't need constant external validation. This allows both partners to show up in the relationship without the burden of always needing the other to fill emotional gaps. This test of independence also extends to how you handle decision-making. Are you able to make choices on your own, or do you often rely on her to make decisions for you? A woman may test this by letting you take the lead in certain situations, perhaps planning a date, making a financial decision, or handling a family matter. How you respond to these opportunities can tell her a lot about your sense of self and your ability to act independently while still being a team player. Independence in a relationship doesn't mean that you don't value her input or that you make decisions in isolation. Rather, it's about being confident in your ability to contribute to the partnership while still maintaining your own agency and autonomy. At the same time, she may test how you balance independence with your commitment to the relationship. A healthy relationship requires that both partners are able to operate as individuals, while still nurturing their bond. If you're constantly withdrawing into your own space, perhaps neglecting the relationship or failing to prioritize time together, this could indicate an unhealthy form of independence. The test here is about balance, being able to function independently while also showing up for the relationship and taking care of it with equal care and attention. It's about finding the sweet spot where both partners are able to grow together without losing their sense of self. Ultimately, when a woman tests your independence, she's not looking for someone who doesn't need her or who can't rely on her. Rather, she's looking for someone who has the emotional strength, maturity, and self-awareness to navigate life with confidence while still being fully invested in the relationship. A woman wants a partner who can stand beside her as an equal, someone who is grounded in their own identity and can bring their best self to the relationship. When she sees that you are self-sufficient, emotionally balanced, and capable of managing your own life while nurturing a deep connection with her, it strengthens the partnership and creates a sense of trust and mutual respect. When a woman tests your emotional stability and resilience, she's often assessing whether you have the capacity to handle the ups and downs of life and relationships with maturity and composure. Emotional stability is essential in building a healthy, lasting relationship because it creates a safe and secure environment where both partners feel supported and understood. Women in particular often want to know that their partner can remain steady, not just during times of happiness, but also when faced with adversity or stress. Life throws many challenges our way, and how we handle these challenges can deeply influence the strength of the relationship.